It's only got six gears. Man, it's a 15 plate car. It is a terrible sounding car. Yeah, so let's just get out of the way. Gee, oh my God. It's actually dangerous having one of these cars, like it genuinely is. Hey, third gear just makes it so fast. Good morning, people. Today we have Golf R behind us. It's a Mark 7. It's definitely not standard. Now, I've wanted to get my hands on a fast one of these for a little while, to be fair. This one's 460 brake, just shy of 500 horsepower. Today we're going to be doing a brutally honest review on this Mark 7 Golf R. I must say I've been quite vocal about not being that big of a fan of these cars, and that's because I've only driven a standard one. So today we're going to be seeing if there's changing my opinion on this car. A bit older now, I like a few of my little comforts and stuff, so I feel like I'm in a much better position mentally to review this car. So let's review this 460 brake Golf R Mark 7 hybrid turbo straight piped Golf R. Now, doing these reviews, it's always tough on how to start. It's like writing an essay. Once you start, it just goes. I know what I want to start with. I mean, it's a very pretty car, but that's not what I start with. I want to start with what this is called. Yes, it is called Devontae's Machine. That is the name of this car on the Bluetooth. It is, or once was, Devontae's Machine. But a couple of points about that is the Bluetooth actually connects really quick. It's actually quite good. In my Audi, it's really slow and it's really sluggish, and that's on my A7, which is like quite a high line Audi. It's a pre-facelift Golf in reality, but the Bluetooth connects really good. The good thing about it as well, it is a manual key, so there's no keyless start, there's no keyless entry. People might think that's a bad thing, but I actually like it. You've got somewhere to put your keys, you don't lose keys when you're driving. You'll actually find that it's a lot better to insure a car like this when you've not got a keyless start, because it's less easy to steal. Going on from that as well, there's no like automatic boot or anything. It's just you have a boot and you pull it, and when you want it to close, you push it. One annoying thing about getting in this car is the doors. The doors just run away from you. I've only had this car for the weekend now. I've almost hit something with the doors. Our passengers have always hit something with the doors. These, if you go past that bit, they're opening and they don't give a shit who knows it. While we're on the interior bits and on the radio and stuff, I'm going to talk about the radio and the speakers itself. The speakers are okay. They're okay. What I've found is that the bass on the speakers are really intrusive. If you've got a song that's quite bassy, you've got it all the way up, it's really quiet. And then when a treble bit comes on or the bass stops, it goes really loud. The treble comes in really loud. As soon as the bass hits again, the whole volume drops. I just had a song on full blast on the phone and the audio, and I could still have a conversation. But then when the bass drops, the treble comes in really loud. So I don't know if there's some sort of equalizer on there or something, but that's quite annoying. But the speakers overall, they're all right. Just a couple more things to make before we go for a drive. It is a really pretty car. It is actually a pretty car. The stance on these cars, so they're standard wheels, and there are no spaces on them. Like, that fitment's pretty good. There are H&R lowering springs on these. I was adamant that there was coilovers, but they're not. They are lowering springs, and the fitment is amazing. So let's address the elephant in the room. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is a perfect car, because it isn't. And one of the worst things about this car is the noise, the sound. And all you Golf R owners, don't sit here and tell me they do sound good if this, they do sound good if you do this. They don't, and you know they don't. Fucking hell! It is a terrible sounding car. It is probably one of the worst sounding performance cars I've heard, okay? Yeah, so let's just get out of the way. So as I said, I wanted to get hold of one of these, a fast one, a nice one. So I've managed to get one of these off Odin. So they're actually giving this away, this exact car away. So there'll be a link on the screen now, and that'll give you a specific link to get cheaper tickets through me. So thank you, Odin, for lending me this car. You can actually win this car. There won't be too long left in the giveaway. I'll put up a I'll show you how long is left, but yeah, head over today. You can actually win this specific car, and again, you can get a discount using my link there. So head over, use my link, and again, thank you, Odin. Now this one is straight piped, okay? Now I have it in eco mode at the minute because that's the only way you can kind of keep your sanity. Because if you have it in like race mode, it just does this. Now when I first picked the car up, would not shut up doing that, and I was like, oh my god. But I was like, it's mapped by SA Tuning, there has to be a mode, turn it off. There is no way that someone has had that all the time. So I put it in eco mode. So if you go in the modes down here, you can choose between normal, race, eco and individual. If we go in eco, it actually shuts up. Like, so we're in eco. There we go, perfect. Now leave on from that, the eco mode in this car is actually really good. When you're in like the normal or the race mode, it properly holds the revs forever. I mean, like, it just holds the revs forever. Eco, if it doesn't need any power, it just shuts down into neutral like it just is now. So now we're cruising, and then obviously when you come back on power, it picks up the revs to a nice low gear. So the eco is really good. The difference between like normal mode and eco mode is really good, and it's quiet. So this is actually fully straight piped, and it's relatively quiet right now. Now going on from that, there's a few issues with the gearbox, okay? There's a few good things about the gearbox. The biggest issue is it's only 6-speed. The 7.5s, the Mark 7.5s actually come with a 7-speed DSG, which is really good. But like this, it just, when you're like cruising like 70, it like sits at 3,500 revs, and it's just so drony, and it just feels like the car's just going, yep, okay, put me into a gear. It just feels really strenuous. And I was like, so look at six gears. I mean, it's a 15-plate car. Gearbox in other ways is really good. It changes gears so fast. I mean, when you're putting your foot down, if it didn't have an exhaust, you would not be able to tell it changes gear. Mate, the gearbox, oh my god, there's just no brake, like absolutely no power loss between gears. It almost feels like you're in something with like anti-lag. It's just so the gearbox is so fast there again. So there's a tiny bit of boost lag, but Jesus Christ, like, oh my god, it changes gear so fast. And another good point, to jump between the modes, it's just so easy. Like, so you can be in eco here now, and you can just boom straight in sport, and even again, if you press one of the paddles, straight in manual, there's no delay whatsoever. Another thing about the gearbox is that when you're in eco mode or a normal driving mode, it kind of doesn't respond well to like driver instinct. It's really weird to explain it. The C63, for example, which I had, I'm going to use it because it's the last automatic that I owned. If you did a gearbox reset, it would learn your driving mode when you change up gears, when you change down, when you came on throttle, so it can kind of adapt to your driving. I've heard this from a few Golf R owners. It just changes gears at weird times. Like, you'd be going through a corner in second, and then or in third, and it just like dropped down to fourth in mid corner, or you'd be going round a roundabout, and it just changed gears at a really weird time. It kind of doesn't interpret a driving style. It's really weird. Now, when this car is actually fast, like this one, this is 460 brake with all-wheel drive, this is a fast car, all right? Now, put that with a very quick gearbox, it's fast. It is a fast car. Kick down. And it's just so fast in the gears. It really takes away that sense of speed. Jesus. Now, there's some complaints about this car where it's very understeered design. So for that, like, the car just does not allow any slip from the rear. And I've heard a lot of people, especially people who are like track goers, it's just annoying because instead of oversteering, it'll just understeer all the time, and it just wants to stay neutral too much. So I think in the 7.5 they changed the ratios of the diff at the back of what power goes to the rear, just to make it a little bit more oversteering, because I've heard a lot of complaints about people saying it just wants to stay neutral too much. You know, it fights too much, and that just causes understeer. Even in like front wheel drive Clios, you still get a little bit of like rear end, you can still feel the rear end going and stuff. But this is just like, it just does not want to give you the sensation that you're going to oversteer. Now, The reason I'm not a big fan of these cars is because I just feel they're quite lifeless. Just the sounds, just how electronic the gearbox feels, and just like how just the power to them is too smooth. That was standard. This is a different car. It is a different car. Does it make it something that's amazing, and does it take away all that lifelessness and the boringness and the uncharacteristics? No, it's still there, you know. I mean, but it's one of those, this was designed as the best all-rounder, you know. And I actually thought that the prices of these were still quite high. So I was adding that into my decision. I was like, I mean, yes, they're amazing all round on paper, but they're a lot of money. I looked at the price of these last night, and you can get, obviously not one like this, but you can get an entry level. Gee, oh my god. You can get an entry level one for like 15 grand. That's a lot of car for the money. This was designed for people who want to do everything, you know, that just want one car. And thinking about it, it is harder to find a car that does as much as this for the money. It actually is. You look at it, you can look at the S5s and stuff. I think they're quite a good sort of comparison, but they don't handle anywhere near as good as this. They're not as fast as this, and for the same price, are you going to get one as nice interior and stuff, and it looks as nice? I don't know. Another reason why I don't like these, I just feel like they're quite common cars. So if I personally was going to have one, I would definitely take the Estate. I think the Estate is so cool. It's just give you so much confidence. Like, honestly, anyone can get in this and drive this fast. Jesus. Oh my god. It's actually dangerous having one of these cars, like it genuinely is. So I'm just going to put it back into E, and then obviously we just calm down. See, look at that. So it's actually dangerous having one of these cars. On country lanes, they're just too fast, mate. Like for UK roads, they're just so fast, because they're quite characterless and they are quite numb in terms of giving you an experience. You have to be driving them fast, and they can be driven fast because these are capable cars. On the roads, you've got to be breaking the law quite often to get a lot of fun out of these. Oh my god, can you drive these fast? Oh my god. I mean, I'm putting hardly any input into this right now, guys. I'm seriously not even lying. You can literally just plant your foot through a corner and the car will just take you around. Like, this is just crazy to drive. It just does so much of the work. You literally just put your foot down and go. I mean, most people just keep it in sports. You don't even have to think what gear you're in. Jeez, it's so capable, mate. Now the springs feel really good. It's super stiff, really stiff. Another thing which I'm not a big fan of is the electric. There's just so much in the steering wheel, like so much on the steering wheel. There's so many buttons. I don't think I've fully got to grips with what they all do. I think it's impossible to know. I think nobody knows. I think it's a life mystery. I think it's a life mystery of what they do. Mate, third gear just makes it so fast. Yeah, buddy! So don't forget, guys, you can win this exact car. So just for you watching this video, your tickets will be $4.99, so less than a £5. You could win this Golf. This car would be amazing for a road trip. It would be perfect for a road trip because it's fast, you can keep up with people, it's capable, it's somewhat good on fuel, you've got space for your bags, you've got cruise control. Like for True Rally next year, so we're actually doing True Rally, we're going to the NC 500 in April, so everything's included with your ticket price. A car enthusiast rally around the NC 500, we're doing one True Rally doing it next year, so
this would be something amazing to take. So if you are interested in coming on that, there'll be a link on the screen now. I've heard some people label this the best all-round car ever made, and you know, right now I'm struggling to think of something that will rival that, but I feel like that is on an objective sense. You know, it does this, it does this, it can do this, it can do this, but what does it make you feel like? And that's where I think that this car is lacking a little bit. But there's a reason why these have such a cult following.